Turning back to Benghazi and the modified limited hangout by this administration, more than two-thirds of Republican House lawmakers now favor establishing that select committee to examine the Benghazi attacks. Our first guest tonight is one of those lawmakers. Joining us now is Congressman Randy Forbes of Virginia, a member of the House Judiciary Committee and Armed Services Committee. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Thanks, Lou.
I want to get first your reaction to the Ways and Means Committee hearing, the performance of the Inspector General, who sat at the side of the now outgoing Acting Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, Stephen Miller.
Well, Lou, I think we see that across this administration, there's this culture of arrogance and an absolute disdain for anyone who would dare try to hold them accountable. And I think that's what you saw constantly coming through the testimony today. This administration loves to just respond with, I don't know. We had Attorney General Holder before the Judiciary Committee early in the week. Same thing, I don't know. And they've even started now with this thing of setting up investigations so they don't have to answer, saying that you can't comment because of an investigation. It's kind of become their new Fifth Amendment for political speak in Washington today. But this testimony today ought to put every American on guard and be very, very concerned about the Internal Revenue Service.
The Internal Revenue Service, in the person of Stephen Miller, as Chairman Dave Camp, the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, said, Congressman, his obvious arrogance and indifference to the respect due a committee of the United States Congress was breathtaking. The American people, it seems, at least to me, should be extraordinarily first outraged and deeply concerned about where this government, how this government is functioning.
Well, Lou, they should. They're terrible at governing. They do pretty good on their one-liners on political talks and speeches, but they're terrible at governing. And the other thing, Lou, it's not just the disdain and arrogance they have for a congressional committee, but it's the disdain and arrogance they have for American citizens. I mean, what you've heard is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. We hear story after story of the IRS abusing this power, and we're getting ready to hire thousands of new agents and put massive amounts of new data that they can do more of this with. I just think that's wrong. And as you know, that's why we began 2 years ago trying to draft a piece of legislation that would stop that from taking place.
And we have learned today that the woman who's in charge of implementing the Affordable Care Law, Obamacare, is the same person who is in charge of the tax-exempt division that was targeting these conservative groups. I mean, this is an outrageous omission and failure to act on the part of a president, it seems to me, who said he was sincerely condemning the acts of the IRS here and that he was holding people accountable, and he doesn't go to the very person who was in charge for part of that period.
Lou, if you and I were to tell the American people everything that you just read in the list of all these scandals that now are factual, if we'd have told them this a year or 2 years ago, they would have sworn we were some kind of conspiracy theories. You can't write this stuff or make it up. And when you look at it, it should be frightening. We're becoming more and more like a third world country instead of the greatest democracy on the face of the earth.
I want to turn to Benghazi very quickly, if I may, Congressman. First, the union representing the State Department's security officers, some 26,000 people, has endorsed the House Republican call now for the establishment of a select committee to investigate Benghazi. Is this going to be significant in impelling the formation now, do you believe, of a select committee that you obviously support?
Lou, I hope it is. I've supported it, and I think one thing the union's realizing, these aren't numbers or statistics. These are real people. I have a picture of Ty Woods on my desk that his father gave me, and you know, his father's entitled to answers as to who ordered those stand-downs, why the government tried to manipulate the data about exactly what happened and why, and the American people need and deserve answers to that, because if we don't get those answers, we'll have this repeated again, and I think that's what the union is seeing and the reason they're stepping up to try to protect their members.
Yeah, and Chief, among those many questions, as you suggest, Congressman, where was the president the night that this all occurred? Did he order the stand down? And as we are now learning from further reporting today, it was a decision they took at the very beginning of the terrorist attack. Congressman,
we need to know who ordered that. Absolutely.
Congressman, we thank you for being here, Congressman Randy Forbes. We're going to have much more here on the IRS Benghazi.